Right. Stop scrolling for just a moment because what I'm about to tell you could genuinely affect how much money lands in your bank account starting September the 1st. The WPRA has just announced 5 changes. 5, and before you think, oh, it's probably just more confusing jargon, no, some of these are actually good news. Real, tangible, money in your pocket good news. And one of them? Most pensioners haven't even heard about it yet. I only found out about it this morning, and honestly, it stopped me in my tracks. Now, I've gone through everything the official WPRA guidance, the government notices, the updates that got buried in the small print, and I've put it all together here in plain English. No jargon, no talking in circles, just what it means for you. So here's what we're going to cover today. There's a change to how your state pension is being uprated. There's something happening with pension credit that could mean thousands of pounds for people who've never even applied. There are new rules around how the WPRA contacts you, and this one could affect your payments directly. There's a shift in the winter fuel payment situation that's actually more positive than the headlines are suggesting. And finally, there's a fifth change that most people genuinely don't know is coming, and I want to make sure you're not caught off guard by it. 5 changes all live from September 1st. Let's get into it. So the first thing the WPRA has confirmed relates to your state pension specifically, a clarification on how the uprating works going forward. Now, most of you will have heard of the triple lock. It's the rule that says your state pension rises every April by whichever is highest inflation, average earnings growth, or 2.5%. And it's still in place, that hasn't changed. But here's what has changed, or rather, what the WPRA has now officially clarified, and this matters more than it might sound. They've confirmed the exact mechanism for how the September inflation figure feeds into your April payment, in plain English. The inflation number recorded every September is the one they use to calculate your pension rise the following spring, and what the WPRA published this week is confirmation of exactly how that calculation is being applied, meaning there's now much less ambiguity about what pensioners can actually expect. Why does this matter? Because for years there's been a real lack of clarity. People were getting different answers from different WPRA advisors. Some people were told their increase would be one thing, and then they'd receive something slightly different in April and have no idea why. This new clarification is essentially the WPRA saying, here is the exact formula, and it applies to everyone in the same way. And here's the emotional side of this that I think gets overlooked. When you're living on a fixed income, uncertainty is exhausting. Not knowing whether you'll have a little more or a little less next April, that kind of stress wears people down. So while this might look like a dry administrative update on paper, what it actually represents is predictability, and for a lot of you watching, that matters enormously. Now the second change, and this one genuinely surprised me, because the numbers involved are much larger than most people realize. Pension credit. If I had £1 for every time someone told me, oh, I don't think I qualify for that, I could probably retire myself. Here's the truth. Around 880,000 pensioners in the UK are entitled to pension credit and are not claiming it. That's not a rounding error. That's nearly 1 million people leaving money on the table, sometimes thousands of pounds a year, simply because they assume they won't qualify, or because the application feels complicated, or because nobody told them clearly enough what it actually is. So let me explain it simply. Pension credit is a top-up benefit. If your weekly income from your state pension and any other sources falls below a certain level, the government tops it up. As of this year, the threshold for a single person is around £218.15 per week. For a couple, it's around £332.95 per week. If you're below those figures, you could be entitled to pension credit, and the average award is worth around £3,900 a year. But here's why September 1st matters specifically. The WPRA has announced a renewed formal push to identify and contact pensioners who may be eligible but haven't claimed. They're cross-referencing existing data, things like your state pension records, tax records, housing benefit information, to proactively write to people they believe may be missing out. So if you receive a letter from the WPRA in the coming weeks that looks official and mentions pension credit, please don't ignore it. I know a lot of people are cautious about unsolicited letters, which is completely understandable given the amount of scam mail that's out there, but the WPRA is specifically saying these letters are genuine, and they will include a direct number you can call to verify. Here's the part that really gets me, though. Pension credit doesn't just give you extra weekly income, it acts as a gateway benefit. When you receive pension credit, you automatically become eligible for a whole range of other support: help with council tax, help with NHS costs, free TV licenses if you're over 75, and potentially help with heating costs too. So that £3,900 figure? That's often just the starting point. If you're not sure whether you qualify, please check. The government has a free online calculator, and you can call the pension credit claim line on 0800991234. It's free to call, and it's worth 5 minutes of your time. Right. Now, the third change, and this one is actually about how the WPRA will be talking to you, and there's something in here that catches a lot of people off guard. From September 1st, the WPRA is rolling out updated communication protocols for pensioners, and I want to explain this carefully because the details really do matter. Here's what's changing. The WPRA is moving more of its routine correspondence, things like payment confirmations, change of circumstances notifications, and annual uprating letters to a new digital-first system. Now, I know some of you will immediately think I don't want to deal with things online, and that's completely valid. So here's the reassurance. Paper letters are not being abolished. If you've always received paper correspondence and you haven't requested anything different, you should continue to do so. But here's where it gets important. If you've ever set up a personal tax account, and a lot of people did during the pandemic when various things moved online, your WPRA correspondence preferences may have been linked to that account, and some people are finding that their preferences have been updated without them realizing it, meaning notifications they used to get by post are now going to an email address they haven't checked in 2 years. The DWP's advice, and I'd echo this strongly, is to check your contact preferences before September 1st. You can do this through the government gateway or by calling the WPRA directly. The pension service number is 080073100469. Free call, and the advisors are genuinely helpful. Now, why does this matter in practical terms? Because if a WPRA letter about a change to your payments goes somewhere you're not monitoring, you could miss something important, and that could affect what lands in your bank account. So this is one of those changes that feels minor on the surface but could have a real impact if you don't take 5 minutes to check. There's also a fraud awareness dimension to this update. As the WPRA moves more correspondence online, they are very aware that scammers often try to mimic official communications. So they've confirmed the WPRA will never ask you to confirm your bank details by email or text message. Never, if you receive any message asking you to do that, it's a scam, full stop. Report it to Action Fraud. Okay. The fourth change, and I want you to really pay attention here, because this one has been badly misrepresented in the media: winter fuel payments. You've probably seen the headlines. You've probably felt the worry. So let me cut through the noise and tell you exactly what's happening as clearly as I can. Last year, the government made the controversial decision to means test the winter fuel payment, where it was previously a universal payment for everyone over state pension age worth between £250 and £600. Depending on your age and circumstances, it became restricted to people receiving pension credit or certain other means tested benefits. That caused real distress, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. For many pensioners, that payment was a lifeline. Losing it created genuine hardship, and a lot of people felt like the government simply wasn't listening. But here's what changed this September, and I think it's more significant than it's being given credit for. The WPRA has announced a formal expansion of the eligibility criteria for winter fuel payments. Starting this payment cycle, pensioners who receive any of the following will qualify: pension credit, yes, but also housing benefit, council tax reduction benefit, and a broader set of income-related support payments that were previously excluded. What that means in practice is that a meaningful number of pensioners who missed out last year will receive a winter fuel payment this year. The WPRA estimates this brings an additional 130,000 households back into eligibility. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it the universal payment it once was? No, but for those 130,000 households, this is real money. If you receive any of the benefits I just mentioned, or if you've recently applied for pension credit off the back of the push I mentioned in Change 2, you may now find yourself eligible for a winter fuel payment you weren't expecting. The WPRA says payments will go out automatically if you're eligible, based on their records. You should not need to apply separately. But, and this is important, if you think you've recently become eligible through a new benefit claim and you're not sure whether the WPRA has updated your records in time, call them. Don't assume. A quick call could mean £250 to £600 extra this winter. I know for a lot of people watching, the cost of staying warm isn't an abstract concern. It's a real pressing daily worry. So I hope this update brings at least a little relief, and if you know someone who might be affected by this change, please share this video with them. It genuinely could make a difference. Right. Last one. Change 5, and I have been building to this one because it's the one I think is most overlooked and possibly the most important for the long term. From September 1st, the WPRA is implementing new identity verification requirements for certain pensioners claiming or updating benefits, and this is the one I promised you earlier, the change most people haven't heard about. Here's the situation. The WPRA has been quietly rolling out a digital identity verification process over the last 18 months. Most working-age claimants have already been through it, but pensioners were largely exempted during the initial phase. That exemption is now ending for a specific group. If you have made any changes to your claim in the last 12 months, a change of address, a change in household circumstances, a new benefit application, the WPRA may now require you to verify your identity through their new system. This is separate from your normal sign-in and is a one-time process. Here's how it works in plain terms. You'll either do it online using a photo ID, a passport, or driving license through a secure government portal. Or if you don't have those documents or don't want to do it online, you can do it in person at a WPRA office or job center, or in some areas through the post office. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This is not a trap. It's not a way to catch people out or cut anyone's payments arbitrarily. The purpose is fraud prevention, making sure that payments are going to the right people, and the process itself, once you sit down and do it, takes most people about 10 minutes. But here's why I'm flagging it. If you don't complete the verification when asked, and the WPRA has flagged your account as requiring it, your payments could be delayed while they sort it out. Not stopped permanently, but delayed. And for people managing a tight monthly budget, a delayed payment is a serious problem. So how do you know if this applies to you? The WPRA is writing to everyone who needs to go through this process. If you receive a letter asking you to verify your identity, don't put it to one side. Act on it within the time frame they give you, which is typically 30 days. And if you're not sure whether you've already done this or whether you need to again, call the pension service on 0800-731-0469 or ask a family member to help you log into your government gateway account and check your messages there. It takes a few minutes and it could save you a lot of stress. Here's the thing I keep coming back to with this particular change. So many pensioners I speak to say the same thing. The system feels like it wasn't designed for them. The letters are confusing, the online portals are clunky, the phone wait times are too long, and I hear that, I really do. But with this specific change, the earlier you deal with it, the less friction there is. Leave it late and it becomes a problem. Deal with it now and it's done. Right. Let me bring it all together for you because I know that's a lot to take in. From September 1st, 2026, here are the 5 WPRA changes every UK pensioner needs to know about. 1. The state pension uprating formula has been officially clarified, giving you clearer, more reliable expectations about your April increase. That's a win for predictability. 2. The WPRA is actively reaching out to the nearly 1 million pensioners who may be missing out on pension credit. If you get a letter, take it seriously. If you've never checked whether you qualify, check now. The number is 0800991234. 3. WPRA communication preferences are being updated. Check that your contact details are correct, and know that they will never ask for your bank details by email or text. 4. Winter fuel payment eligibility has been extended to include more pensioners receiving income-related benefits, meaning 130,000 more households may receive a payment this winter. You shouldn't need to apply, but if you're unsure whether you're on their records, call to confirm. And 5. A new identity verification requirement is being rolled out for pensioners who have recently made changes to their claims. If the WPRA writes to you about this, act within 30 days to avoid any delay to your payments. I know the WPRA and pensions news can feel overwhelming sometimes, like there's always something changing, always something to worry about, but honestly, looking at these 5 changes together, there's more good news here than bad, more money reaching people who need it, more clarity, more safeguards. The system isn't perfect, far from it, but if you know what's coming, you can be ready for it, and that's exactly why I put this together for you today. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps more people find this information when they need it. And if you know someone who'd benefit from knowing about these changes, a parent, a neighbor, a friend, share it with them. The simplest things can make the biggest difference. I'll have another update for you very soon. Until then, take care of yourself.